Hello, lovers! Welcome to Character Tuesday! Yes! So, lovers, thank you so much for joining me today. And a healthy welcome to you all today on Character Tuesday. Yes! So, you guys must be wondering, what exactly is it that I'm going to be talking about today? Because we've spent more than 4 weeks talking about characters, developing characters, and all these exciting things. Well, lovers, today I have somewhat of an exciting situation and a surprise for you guys. So, today I'm going to be having with you, my loyal community, what we're going to be calling a full circle moment. So, we spent, as I said before, quite a few weeks talking about character development, character planning. What else was there? We spoke about character differentiation. Yes, we spoke about character profiling. And last but not least, we spoke about plot. And in plot, we spoke about the different techniques or different types of plot, which would be like linear and flashback, episodic, and so on. So today, it only comes natural that I want all of us as a community to now understand what is the importance of developing characters. Why? Why does a story even need to have a character? Can't we just tell stories in just telling stories' sake? That question I'm going to answer right away, very quickly, and very fast. So, guys, as you know, the character is the meat of the meal. It is that main course. It is what you look forward to because our characters are filled with emotions. Our characters are filled with background stories that, believe it or not, make or break our story. So some authors may spend copious, and when I say copious, I just mean a lot of time. So some authors may spend a lot of time developing their backstories and just really painting the scenery in terms of us reading and giving us the details and giving us all that information. But there are those authors who much prefer to use their characters to do that part of it. Now, one basic reason and one key reason as to why characters are important is that building believable characters in a fictional story or in a fictional scenario allows you to make or break your story. So when you're building your character and it's for a fictional story, if you're not building your character well, then that story is not going to be told well. As I said, the character is the main course. It's the meat. It's what guides that story. It's what helps your plot to unfold. I don't want to say too much about that. But then the second reason is that, in my experience, your characters are what we call the driving force. It's like a catalyst to unfolding your plot and to bringing that plot to life. So clearly, if you've broken down your plot and you know exactly what are the different scenarios that will happen and you know what the crisis will look like, and when you take it to crisis, what's going to happen, or if you're going to use a flashback technique, then your character is what you're going to use now to unfold each element of your plot, to ensure that your plot is being broken down at the right place, the right emotions are being conveyed, the right scenarios and the backstory around the different scenarios are now going to come to light. So it's going to be really like a melting pot, but more than anything else, that character is going to stand out in that melting pot to help bring that pot to a nice gummy sticky texture that's just really has a lot of body and so on. So the next thing I wanted to touch is that the importance of your characters really relies on your piece. That is your literal piece. As I mentioned earlier, there are some authors who like to use, the narrative side of things to tell their stories, which is not a bad way to approach your work. But come on, as readers, we are action filled. We are people, we're humans. So when you're creating your storylines and when you're doing your plots, you have to bear in mind that your readers are human beings. We have emotions. What better way to appeal to our emotions than to create a fictional character that embodies our emotions, that embodies the stories that we've lived through in some different type of scenario, there's no better way. Characters really do it all for a story. I'm not saying you can't use a narrative approach. You can, because if you look at some pieces of work, there is always room for narration, but the narration stops at some point, and then those characters have dialogue. Those characters now become the main narrator, and it becomes more exciting, and then your audience is able to engage. And you know what that means? Once your audience successfully engages and bonds with your character and is like their entire life, then that is when you have that best seller quality. Yes! So now, the next point I wanted to touch really quickly is that a good technique is to take what you know about your character and create an arc outline. Now, last week we did talk about arcs, and we did talk about, how you create your different arcs and the ascent, the descent. Yeah, those two arcs that you use when you're telling your story. Now, the reality is, if you have your character and you're not using what you know about your character to create that arc, you may end up with not being able to connect your character to the storyline. So you may end up with a character that's doing something that doesn't relate to your storyline, and no one wants that. No author wants that. No reader wants that, because then it becomes a boring read and we put down that novel. So you have to show who the character is in the beginning, and then take the readers on a journey of how the change happens to that character to the very end. That creates better engagement and gives you that bestseller quality. And this way, it makes it easy for the authors like ourselves to unfold a backstory organically and not have to use narration to develop that backstory. Makes it more interesting of a read, makes it more engaging, and it's going to give you what you need, which is that bestseller. So guys, my labbers, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in to Character Tuesday. And I'm so excited to have had you guys. And for those of us who were in the 876, it was Independence and Emancipation, guys, and it was a blast. So happy belated Emancipendence to all those who didn't get it from me, and to all those who didn't get to celebrate all month long. That's what I do. I'm Jamaican to the bone. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Character Tuesday day. And if you have any issues building those characters, unfolding those plots, creating those scenes, just hit me up in my DM and I'll definitely help you. Have a great day, labbers. Mwah. Bye.